Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and the guy that wrote too many of these intros. You have been warned. This is Random Review.
Before we begin, thank you very much to Saturday Being the Final Day Was Only a Dream. Keep it going for joining the Patreon campaign. Look, whether or not it keeps going is entirely up to you guys. I do not control this. I have not been in control of this channel for a long time. I think that's abundantly clear. But thank you very much for the support. I do genuinely appreciate it. Thank you for letting me keep the lights on and keep the videos going. I always appreciate that. So, it's a review day for me, because, aka, I'm busy with other things. So let's come up with a toy review. And we're going to be talking about something that I've been doing quite a bit of. The Studio Series 86 Dinobots have been nothing but impressive to me. And I've reviewed the ones that I felt like reviewing, and they've all been really, really stellar. So let's talk about Snarl, the latest addition to the lineup, and see if it came out anywhere close to his brethren. Keep in mind, Snarl was only in the movie by accident, or omitted from the movie by accident. Take your pick. But point being, he is in the movie technically, and we do have to round off all 5 Dinobots, so here we go. Snarl in his familiar Stegosaurus mode, looking very beefy and chunky, the way I would genuinely expect him to look. Looking quite nice. I do like the overall look we got going here. Every time I transform a Snarl toy, I forget that that big tail and that thagomizer is not supposed to stick straight out like a big old weapon. It's supposed to drag to the ground. Okay. That always throws me off, but, you know, that's a me thing. Still looks fine. You can see he is cast in his familiar colors of gold, silver, as well as red, taking up the majority of the rear section. Because of the treatments that they got going on here, the plates are not the same shade as the rest of the gold around him, which is far closer to the animation yellow. The gold is actually a little bit, a lot more metallic up here, and it is a softer plastic across the spines to prevent easy breakage, which I do appreciate. I mean, it's soft plastic that actually is coming in handy, and, you know, I don't mind that so much, rather than, like, other uses of it where it seems silly. We'll get to that here in a minute. But no, overall, yeah, I'm liking what I am seeing. Let's take close-up so you can get an eye on the paint here. So, Snarl's got his Autobot logo stamped bold on his head, bright blue eyes. We'll go ahead and show you the mouth does open up wide. Got something of a serrated tongue in the middle thanks to the engineering. The teeth are molded in, at least, so that's not bad. Yep. We go across a little bit of gunmetal here across the midsection too. A little bit of blue and red, just marking little bits of detail. Emulates the stickering on the toy a little bit more gunmetal gray around here. Kind of blends into the plastic colors that are exposed through on some of the silver parts. And then, yeah, as far as paint goes, yeah, this section all paint. The tail is completely painted in gold. So, yeah, it's not a bad design idea at all. It's not bad at all. Like, the deco really doesn't need to be extensive on these 86 figures since it's emulating the look of the movie. So it does look really, really nice. Snarl has always been interesting out of the Dinobots in that he has, like, this really big, bold patch of red taking up the rear section of his beast mode, where everyone else tries to keep it as solid silver as possible, with the exception of Swoop. We'll see how he turns out later. Function-wise, if you want actual function in your Stegosaurus, the hips do move. No, you can see they part of the transformation, so you can't really get too crazy. Knee and ankle bend, there is a rotation there thanks to transformation, so you have that to play around with. Up at the arms, a little bit of outward movement, but you also get full range up and down. The elbow works pretty well. And then, yeah, the opening mouth. So you can get little adjustments out of his beast mode legs. Makes him at least a little bit playable. So that's a little bit more than a lot of beast formers get. If you want him a little bit more playable, he does have 5mm ports you can arm him up with. Here, one on top of the hip, and then there's a big one here at the top, which is supposed to be storage for his weapon, because he gets a sword. Yes, I know. The 86, everyone complaining about 86 Dinobots need their swords. Guess what? Snarl is literally the only one in the cartoon who canonically had a sword. So there. I'm salty over things like this. But that's his storage spot, and it's a silly storage spot because he's not going to hit anyone with that sword, is he? No, he is not. Here, let's take this off for a second. You put it this way. We put it this way, he just has one long spine growing out the top of him. I kind of work like that. I got like one hair in my eyebrow that gets super long compared to the others. But I think this is a little bit different. I think this is a little bit different. Bone protrusion doesn't really compare. All right, so we need to get this guy transformed. And this is where the Studio Series Dinobots have excelled. The transformations on these guys have always been something really special. And Snarl does a few tricks of his own, so let us get started. It does have roots in familiarity with G1, so we're going to start by taking that panel of plates off and folding it out. We're going to leave that alone for now. Here's where we get a little bit weird, so I'm going to lift up what will be his robot chest to unclip the inner feet, and then we're going to extend it. This is actually interesting because slide joints for transformation have been very much avoided by Hasbro the last few years because they're infamous for failing. It's why a lot of G1 toys collapse under their own weight in robot mode. But we've been seeing a resurgence of it lately, and it's a little bit necessary for Snarl, so I kind of understand why. Alright, so going to split him apart. We're going to go onto the underside, the underbelly of the beast mode. Make sure I stay in focus for this and stay on frame. So, I'm going to go ahead and open up all of this. Start rotating things outward. Alright, so, before we go all the way, we need to start getting this beast mode head into its slot. So, open up these tabs on the top of the leg configuration, and then make sure this tabs right back into the tiny little slot on the knee joint. You can see the inside of the head is painted silver to help hide it in robot mode, which I think is a really nice little detail. Lots of little bits of attention there. Now we can go ahead and extend the legs all the way out and begin folding everything together. Alright, so fold the leg up like so. It's going to hinge on a panel all the way to the back. Once it's back here, and I keep trying to find the correct angle to show this off. Alright, so once it's back here and it's aligned properly, then you can rotate it down and then fold it all in together like so. So that's going to form your leg for the robot mode. Let's go ahead and show you that again. Fold that up. Rotate once it's past this kibble. Then you rotate it down, make sure it's all level, 90 degrees. Make sure it hits that tab when you close it up. Close that together, make sure the leg tabs all of its things together properly. And then fold out that foot, and that's going to be the leg transformation. Leg transformations on these Dinobots are always neat. I do like this one isn't quite as magical as some of the others we've seen on like Slug and Sludge, but I think it works well. Go ahead and rotate this out. Close down that midsection. Alright, here's the part of the transformation I actually really like. And it's cooler going to beast mode or robot mode, but we'll go ahead and show it here too. The whole beast mode unfolds in order to create the arm. And I love how they thought to actually, thicken up the leg like this by just folding up the forearm into it. That's actually a really cool way of getting it out of the way and making sure the beast mode has its correct proportions. Go ahead and rotate the beast mode foot down. That'll let you accordion it down into the forearm. We'll go ahead and do the same thing on this side. There we go. Flick the hand out, rotate the hand around, fist around, no, the foot around, accordion down. There we go. And with that, go around to the back, open up the tail, From there, push the head out from the rear. Go ahead and double fold this down. Make sure it clips into place. And that is going to do it. That's going to be Snarl in robot mode. So, I don't think he's got quite as many tricks going on as some of his Dinobot brethren. I remember Slug being especially impressive with how it worked its bulk into its robot mode parts, and Sludge to a degree as well. But the tricks he has, I do think are still rather clever. You know, especially the way the arms do, like, just like mash together in order to form the beast mode legs. I actually really like that. And yeah, even then, like, there are little tricks to his leg transformation that works pretty well. So again, it's maybe not quite as magical as some of his other 86 Dinobot friends, but I think it gets the job done really, really well. And it comes across with a really, really nice looking robot mode. Nothing to really complain about. He looks really, really nice. And yeah, very smooth transformation. As always, we need to go to the head sculpt to start us off with. And yeah, the head looking very much Snarl. It's a stern expression. Very serious warrior Snarl usually is in fiction. Works well. Works well. Nice silver, nice bright blue. No trouble telling where the eyes are and how bright they are. Love to see that. We tour his robot mode. We can see that there's a little bit of extra deco that is going on here. There's a little bit of red and silver in the middle of the black chest. The Autobot symbol is nice and stamped in the middle with a silver outlining. And a few of those details, like the little bits of red and blue, are highlighted in the robot mode. So he brings that forward a little bit. I do like the visual trick of the rear of the beast mode becoming the torso of the robot mode. So you kind of get this visual switch up and takes him into like that traditional like red chest Dinobot appearance. So all works out really well for me. Look how clean he is. Oh, I love the Dinobots for this. I mean, Sludge had to work with what he had, but look at this. Like, the only kibble on the back is the stuff that's supposed to be there, his plates and his tail. And tail done very well. I like how you have all these inner details here. It almost creates a feather look, like this is supposed to be wings. It's an interesting bit of design detail that I quite enjoy, where they Hasbro, like Takara, I should credit Takara's like sculptors, making sure that there's little details even in the spots he wouldn't normally look, just in case, just to try and amp it up a little bit more. Like, in particular, if you look across this back, you've got all these cables that go around the rear of him. You've got pipes that go from the inside of the tail down into the robot. Lots of nice little touches to just kind of make it feel like this is like a real functioning living robot. Really, really appreciate it. Proportionally, he pretty much matches up well with the rest of the Dinobots. Unfortunately, I don't have any on hand at the moment to actually show you how well he matches up. The head might be like slightly large for some, but that is accurate in the cartoon proportions, and it's consistent with the other Dinobots so far. So don't really give him a hard time over that. Everything else looks good. He's very nice and solid. We take a look all the way around. We're not going to find too much hollowing. Maybe like a little bit on the inside of the forearms. Nothing terribly bad. The legs are about as solid as you're going to get, considering there's a lot of like parts that have to fold in and out of those. No, like, I am genuinely surprised that they've been able to do these Studio Series Dinobots for as long as they have and not really sacrifice out of them the way a lot of their size classes have been. You know, we've seen like Armada Megatron is leader class just like this guy, but he doesn't feel as big and solid as the Dinobots do. So I love that they're keeping that consistency. Now, the smallest one is yet to come, so that might change things. But for now, we have a really nice consistent set of these dinos. So let me get into articulation so you can see exactly what you're getting out of him. The head, all ball jointed, has a little bit of up and down, full 360 around. Shoulders have that weird universal motion to them, but it works, fully works. You still get a good range of motion out of it. All right, elbows, thanks to transformation, have a double joint to them, so that has a tremendous range of motion for a Dinobot. Full 360 bicep rotation, wrist rotation as well. We go into the torso, full 360 rotation there. Universal hip joints, lots of range of motion. Thigh swivel, 360 degrees. 90-degree knee bend. And then to top it off, of course, we have a nice stiff ankle joint as well. That puts Snarl, pretty firmly in one of the more articulated toys you are going to get. It's a pretty standard range of motion these Transformers have these days, but Snarl does come out a little bit ahead thanks to having such deep elbow bends, and the wrist rotation too, which sometimes gets skipped. So let me talk about that sword briefly before we go. So yes, there's more places you can arm him up now. The 5mm here are still exposed. The 5mm on the back is still exposed. You got 2 on the underside if you want to attach some kind of a, well, I guess any of the part formers these days. The sword, on the other hand, is nicely detailed. I mean, it is Snarl's traditional sword. No real fancy thing about that. The one caveat is it's made of the same soft plastic as his plates, which is a little bit unfortunate. Fortunately, it's thick enough that it's not caused too much of a problem. It's straight enough out of box for me to not worry about it. But it is weird. I really don't like when the weapons are the soft PVC. I really don't. But that's pretty much the only slam I can put against this toy. Everything else is pretty exceptional. The transformation might not be quite as involved as some of his brethren, but it still has some nice tricks to it that I think make it really enjoyable to transform. And the overall look in both modes is spot on. You got some nice function in the beast mode, lots of range of motion in the robot mode, and yeah, just another super solid entry into these Studio Series Dinobots. So that is 86 Snarl. I'm just like standing here waiting and like licking my lips, just waiting for Swoop to be revealed. My favorite Dinobot. Well, until Scar came around. But my favorite Dinobot from childhood. And I really, really want to see how he turned out in this set. And I really want to see all 5 together when I can do it. So, that's Snarl. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We have officially given him about 100 times more airtime than they had in the 86 movie. I think that's fair. So, thank you for watching. I will see you next time.
I'm like, I think you guys got this. I will back away, and I will see you all later.
You've got this handled.
Alafi's like, really? You're not gonna help me? Like, it's fine now.
It's like these disgusting creatures breathing down my neck, and you're all just like, I believe in you. You got this.
All right, you seem to have this. 5 minutes.